So, why our brains are vulnerable to manipulation? In other words, why are we susceptible to false information or bad influence? The first of two reasons that I believe are most relevant to answer this question is one that relates to our evolutionary history. Our species has survived thousands of years of harsh and dangerous environments that presented many threats to our survival every day, and many of these threats will kill you on your first slip up, never giving you a chance to learn from experience. It was therefore evolutionarily necessary for the young to heed the commands of the adults without question, because learning only from personal experience can sometimes prove fatal. Don't touch fire, don't eat that poisonous plant, and so on. Children that heeded commands without question have survived long enough to have their own children, while those who chose to ignore commands experienced these deadly pleasures and died young before passing their genes to newer generations. So, by natural selections, the genes that prompted children to consider everything you tell them to be true now dominates our species. This is why it is fairly easy to manipulate or recruit children into any cause or dogma or movement without question. And if these children are not properly educated and equipped with the proper thinking skills, they will carry this vulnerability into adulthood. The second reason we are vulnerable is that our brains usually tend to jump to conclusions in order to save us both energy and time. We tend to quickly jump to conclusions whenever we encounter new information despite the lack of evidence that supports our quick conclusions. This trait has helped our ancestors survive their environments by making quick decisions in harsh environments, but on the other hand, it also hinders us from adequately processing new information before making judgments, which could cause false ideas to take root in our brains and become ingrained into our beliefs. These are some of the traits that make our brains vulnerable to manipulation, cult mentality, and superstition. And the main point to drive here is that because you possess the same biological brain as your fellow human beings, you are just as vulnerable. So accepting this fact that your brain is not invincible is the first step to take towards developing the proper tools to fortify your brain against those who would rob you of your right to think independently.